What up and welcome to the Daily Grind. Luke just stepped out. There he is. Welcome back, Luke.
Back.
I
It's
was like,
like,
it's all right. I'll be here by myself, I guess.
yeah. When I asked you to join me this morning, I really just wanted you to do the show. So thank you for hopping on.
I was like, all right, there goes Luke. We're about to start the show.
Welcome back, friends. Thank you for just doing that. How is everybody doing? This is the Daily Grind. This is Daniel. He's not normally here, but he was going to do the show today. So rock and roll.
Yeah, man. Listen, I after last night, I don't know if I'm pissed off from just like the terrible game that was, or like I'm excited to see that, like, hey, the Grizzlies, as constructed as they are, could beat both of those teams, like have a chance. Like, I don't know if I'm pissed or excited or what. It's ridiculous.
It was a pretty awful game one of the finals. I thought. I mean, like, just in terms of performances, in terms of like a bad score. Like, I mean, like, it just wasn't. It wasn't good, and it's like you said. I feel confident about the currently constructed Grizzlies roster against both these teams.
Yep.
It's like Tatum played bad. I mean, played bad. Didn't play great. Well, let me back up. Who, in your opinion, was the best player on both teams?
I don't know. Jaylen Brown was really good, especially defensively. He was really good.
Yeah.
Realistically, it was Porzingis with he was the X factor. I don't know if you can say like, oh my God, he was the best player on the court. He was the best player on the court for his whatever minutes that he played.
Yeah.
And that was huge. But overall, it was a team win. I know that sounds stupid, but it was a team win. They were flying up and down the court. Boston was, but honestly, dude, Dallas shot terrible. They played terrible. It was the worst game they played. Derek Lively looked like he was a rookie again.
Yeah.
And there was no flow to the Dallas offense, which outside of Luka, there was no offense.
No, and how many? The big number that stood out to me, I want to make sure I get it right. Where'd it go? 9 assists. That's really odd. I mean, maybe it's not odd when you have. That's just a lot of one-on-one, right? I mean, like,
right.
The fact that you are in a finals game and you have less than double-digit assist is just weird to me, especially when you're in the rebound game. It's like 43. You're only out rebounded by 4 rebounds, and it's like,
right.
It's just really odd to me that the like staggering difference between those numbers, because Boston had 23.
Yeah.
It's just like, and granted, I know a lot of that is when you have Porzingis coming off the bench, and it's your bench unit is just going to be vastly better, because I don't think anybody on the bench for Dallas showed up really. But they just got to get more. I don't know if you got to get more guys. I expected more from Jason Kidd. Let me say that. Like, I wasn't expecting this much one-on-one kick out bad pass at the last second when my one-on-one doesn't. I don't know how much of that is him, how much of that is Luka and Kyrie.
I don't know if that's him. Listen, there's going to be adjustments made, like, by both coaches. Like, so, Mizzou's going to make some adjustments, just tinkering with it. You're going to see majority of the adjustments come from the Dallas side. But you're talking about PJ Washington, which may have broke a backboard. I'm not sure, but he went 0-3. Derek Jones Jr. opens the game with a 3 and then goes 1 of 2. And then Kyrie goes 0-5, 12 points, 6 of 19 overall. Luka goes 4 of 12. And then their bench guys go 2 of 5 overall. And that was mainly 1 of 3 from Hardy, 1 of 1 from Green. Like, let's just be honest. They did not shoot well. And they didn't shoot well from deep. And that's what, if you watch the defense that Boston was running on, and I talk about this on, I think it was Grizz 101, they were going to run, in my opinion, I felt like they were going to run like an umbrella type defense. And that's kind of what they ran, which is you have 4 guys on the perimeter and then 1 guy in, such as you would like a 4 out, 1 in. Well, all you're doing is saying, hey, you're going to play in these positions. We're not going to go over top of anything. We're going to go under everything. So every screen under, any kind of pick and roll, everything under. If there's anything that goes above the 3-point line, we're not guarding it unless it's Luka. At that point, we're match up man-to-man. If you see Luka, you match up man-to-man, and that's it. The The rest, you're passing off everybody, and you're just playing an area such as a zone type defense, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have Porzingis or Horford going side to side, so it looks like a 3-2. So anytime the ball's here, that guy goes to that side, creating that guy outside of the lane. But then your backside comes in, so it looks like a 3-2 defense. So 3 at top, 2 at the bottom, and then it moves around and shifts. That's the only defense they ran. And so I call it the umbrella defense. You can call it a 3-2, but you can't play in the middle. You can't, kind of do that. You can't have a spot. So, that's the defense they ran, and it worked very well because it allowed somebody to overhelp and play on Luka. And honestly, when they're not shooting well, Luka felt like he needed to, give him a spurt. And that's why he stopped probably passing as much as he did. But
yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, when your team is shooting as poorly as they were, and when there's guys out there like we saw Tim Hardaway Jr. for the first time last night when we've not seen him in a while. When you're like seeing dudes miss shots that don't normally or that aren't, he probably felt like he had to do a lot of hero ball. And I mean, Luka had 30. I mean, he had a 30, 10, and 1.
Yeah,
but that felt like a hard earned 30. Like Drew Holiday made his life hell. Like he was following him up the court. What, like 90% of the way? It felt like.
Yeah.
And shout out Drew, man. I think that he may have had like the least amount of points out of the starters, maybe. No, Horford did. He had 12, but he impacted the game far more than just like 12 points, 8 rebounds. I mean, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal is pretty dang good. He's a plus 20. Like when you're taking it on yourself to be like, hey, I'm gonna take Luka out. It's pretty amazing. And he also contributed a large part to Kyrie's pretty bad game. Kyrie played 6 of 19, 0 for 5. Not very good.
Yeah, no, not at all. And honestly, a lot of that defense you're talking about with Drew Holiday, it was kind of like, hey, you just stay in front of him as much as you can. And as soon as he turns, whoever's on that side, you go help out, or the backside guy can come from the back end. I think we saw Peyton Pritchard just kind of poking the ball away. And a lot of it wasn't steals, but it was like disrupting of his flow, of Luka's flow. So you're going and, maybe knocking the ball away or kind of creating that surprise type defense that you don't have to plan for. And it kind of can just be reactionary. And then he's having to adjust like, well, can't go that way because there's somebody coming. So you're kind of, it was a very good defense. And it mainly was Holiday, kind of being in the front guy, but not actually saying, hey, I have to go one-on-one. I'm going to get help from one side or the other. Yeah.
Well, and talking about disrupting Luka's flow, like Porzingis just playing as well as he did in that first half is, there was lob threat gone, just by. There was no lively Gafford lobs. Porzingis, get that out of here. It wasn't happening. And when that happens, when Drew is disrupting the flow of the game, it's like, you've got to try shit. Yeah. Pardon my French, but like Luka was trying stuff, and Boston was just. And that being said, they still went on a 29-9 run, 28 something run in the third. Like,
it was a big run. It was mainly by Luka though. It was the end of the half. Yes. Luka kind of had some big buckets. They kind of carried that mojo going in, and I think it was more like maybe Miami Dallas finding their flow a little bit on offensive end. But also it's probably Boston being up by 20, 5, 30, whatever at some point during the game. And you're like, hey, let's cruise it. Let's figure it out. But also they made the adjustments, call timeouts, make the adjustments, stand back up on defense, and then you can kind of shut the water off.
Yeah. It's honestly, Joe Mazzulla would have not made any adjustments in the past. I feel like he's learned a lot. Yeah. He seems like a strange bird, but I'm a strange bird. It's no big deal. Going back to your second point that you made at the top of the show, the fact that the Grizzlies don't appear too far off from competing against either one of these teams. Yeah. As currently constructed, I'm going to kind of move. Well, before I do that, who do you have winning game 2?
I think it has to be a bounce back game for Dallas because Boston plays so well on the road. But honestly, like Boston was ranked number 1 in offense, number 2 in defense, I believe, if not flip flop. And then Dallas in the regular season was ranked 8th on offense, 18th on defense. Like those are rearing their ugly heads again. And honestly, I know I've shared the stat before. There's no team since 1981. There's been only 3 teams since 1981 that hasn't been either offense or defense in the top 5, like during the regular season. There's only been 3, and those have all been like 7th or both. Offense was 7th, defense was 7th, or 8th and 8th. There was one outlier. I believe it was the Miami Heat that was like 12th on defense or something like that. It was a LeBron-led team. Nobody has been ranked 18th on defense, like not even close, and won a championship. So that's obviously what we're seeing right now, and I think that goes to show. But Boston is a juggernaut, and they showed it last night. But I think that Dallas has to have a complete knockout performance.
Yeah, if they don't, it might be a short series if they don't win this one.
100%.
And that'd be a bummer. I like basketball. Shifting a bit though, we were talking about Grizzlies are constructed pretty well. Yep. I've been talking about pieces of the roster that, for better or for worse, may or may not be a part of that construction moving forward.
Yeah.
One of those guys in particular is John Konchar. He's going to be making $6 million. He goes from having a salary that's really not easy to trade to one that's pretty easy to trade, I would say. Easier. It's easier to trade $6 million than 1.2, maybe. I don't know. Depending on who I don't know. I like Jitty a lot. I don't know if paying him $6 million when it's going to be a struggle for him to get any minutes next season, but what he does, in my mind, it's a luxury that I'd be willing to pay if we are able to shake some other salaries. Just because he does everything well for like a 10th guy. And I mean, I don't know if you can ask for a prototypical better 8th, 9th, 10th guy in your rotation than Konchar.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a lot of guys that are going to be struggling to find minutes who are making more than guys who are outplaying them, to be perfectly honest. And I don't know. I don't know how that's going to shake out for Jitty.
Yeah, so I consider Konchar a luxury item. I think I've always said that about Konchar, but also whatever his name, Luke Kennard. He's a luxury item. He's somebody that, listen, if it fits your style, then you're good. But if for some reason like it doesn't, then you will honestly, you can't keep him around. And so that's definitely what you got to make sure you do. Anyway, I don't know. I just think he's a luxury item for sure.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where I'm not entirely sure. Do people want him? If it's a luxury item that to have, like, are other teams going to want, with all the CBA stuff going wonky, or other teams going to want a luxury item? It seems like he was drawing more interest at last year's trade deadline when he was making less. It's like, I just don't know.
But do we know?
No, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
It's the season's not over, Daniel. I'm just trying to fill my show with stuff. Nobody knows.
Listen, John Konchar is a fine player. What I will say is, as currently constructed, you don't want to have him over guys like GG or Vince, like that. And that's an understood thing. But what you can do is you can have a guy like Konchar for $6 million on your roster as the 10th guy, because you don't need to play 10 guys, right? So I know Taylor Jenkins has played 10 guys, a rotation, whatever. And honestly, he could be in the rotation. He's getting his 8 to 12 minutes a game. That's not going to lose you games. Konchar being on the court 8 to 12 minutes is not going to lose you games. Mm-hmm. The thing is like we've seen these other guys, these prospects, whatever, potentially play over him, like Zaire, like Jake, Roddy, who have all kind of, they've just tried to see what they have in them. And honestly, Jitty he's just a tried and true. He's going to do his thing. He's not going to ever win you games for the most part. He's for the most part not going to lose you games.
Not going to lose you games.
Yeah, but he's a guy that if this roster gets shaken up a little bit and they consolidate to make the top 8 better, he's a perfect guy that if he's still on the team can be your 9th guy, can be your 10th guy. And honestly, if for some reason a starter goes down, you throw him into the starting rotation because it doesn't mess up the flow of anything. And so I think he's a guy that you keep on your roster unless you have to throw him in for, getting back another piece that you really need to upgrade your top 8.
Yeah. I mean, you could do a lot worse in terms of spot starting a player. I mean, was it 2 years ago he closed out the season almost averaging a double-double every game? Well, that he started. It's like
right.
It wasn't it was like a 10-10, but it's still it's like you said, he's not going to win you games, but he's not going to lose you games. And he still might be good for an awesome block. Like he'll be good for a highlight at maybe once every 2 months.
Yeah. His defense is very good. His on-ball defense is fine, but it's his help defense. It's his knowledge of being in the right spot. Defensively does help you, like the help side defense, the off-ball, the backside, weak side. All that can help you defensively. His biggest thing is his 3-ball. If it's not falling, you can't play him in the playoffs. But we're not talking about the playoffs. We're talking about just regular season games, spot, play time here and there. If you need to come in and have a defensive stop, whatever, he's going to do those things. This guy he's fine on the roster. He's a luxury item. I don't think it's anything that we should not be worried about John Konchar, honestly. And if we are, that's an issue.
Yeah, if next season we're worried about, is John Konchar playing well, then something has gone terribly wrong, and we're living a Groundhog's Day thing where we're repeating last season. I don't want that.
Nope.
Because guess what? If we consolidate the roster and he's your 9th, 10th guy, guess who doesn't play in the playoffs? 9 and 10 guys. So it's like, why are we talking about this? Mm-hmm. I just told you why. It's because I got to fill content, Daniel. CONTENT. With that being said, we're going to take just one break. And when we come back, we are going to, I got to refill my coffee. When we come back, we are going to talk about the weekend, non-basketball, because I guess we don't get basketball till Sunday, right? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. 2 days off.
Yeah, 2 days off. So right after this break, we will talk the weekend.
Speaking of getting rid of toxins, Kenny Stubblefield, David Jones.
Wow.
Nah, I mean, depending on who you look at it. He may be a toxin to University of Memphis. The University of Memphis might be a toxin to him. In a very dramatic fashion, David Jones decided he will be taking this challenge to the NBA. And around 10:55, man, it started feeling a little bleak. I text you. I said, Kenny, is there any hope?
I mean, he kind of the writing's been on the wall, right? I mean, he said it to the Daily Memphians, Drew Hill at the combine. If I get
any inclination that I can get,
think at me the right way, I'll stay in the game.
You only have a very short window of time. I think that window is very small. I think you can get caught up in just becoming an amateur basketball player, and you can lose that window of opportunity.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
This has turned into unrealistic expectations for teams. Not every team is ready to win a championship. There are steps you got to take to put yourself in position to win it. And I thought that what they had done in Cleveland had become a team that was muddled in nothing. And JB, I thought they created a little bit of a culture. You were able to find a star player. I think it's tough. I go back to what happened with Adrian Griffin in Milwaukee. I mean, you got the second best record in the NBA, and they say, well, we don't know if you're the one to get us over the top. Yeah, but the guy you bring in is only 5-6 games over 500 from that point on. You would hope that realistic expectations start to come back into the fold, other than these unrealistic things that it's going to happen. Winning a championship happens just like that, because it didn't that way at all.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back. We're back. You know, I like this one commercial thing. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. You can catch that show, Night Court. You can catch Anthony Saint Show. You can catch Grizz 901 at 901 on Tuesdays. Yes. Tuesdays. Got a whole mess of shows. $2 Sports Show drops today. Got a lot of stuff. LoveCityMedia.co.
Hey, one
Real-
thing I will say is Anthony Sange 100th episode is on today at noon.
Oh, yeah.
And I know he has Peter Edmiston on, but a little behind the scenes, there's some really good personal videos that will be shown. And I think it'll be good to see Sane be caught off guard. So I haven't seen the recording, but I've heard from the producer that it was a good segment.
I know him.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
I'm not sure exactly what segment, but it's to celebrate his 100th episode.
Oh, heck yeah. I'm excited. Yeah, check that out for sure. That's at 12 today?
12 o'clock.
Yeah,
Central.
heck yeah. Check that. Central. Real quick, before we get into our last segment, I didn't want to do a whole segment on this. Dan Hurley, what are your thoughts of the news about Lakers targeting him?
He's about to be rich.
Yeah, he is, dude. That was the quote unquote like long-term lucrative deal. Mega deal. Was it mega deal?
Yeah. So what I will say is in the NBA, dude, that money is guaranteed.
Yeah, it is.
So listen, he can always go back to coaching if he ever wants to. I think everybody's goal is to possibly see if you can cut it, especially back-to-back championships. You know, you can create that for the most part on the college level. He's doing it at UConn. Things are changing within the college, realm of actually having to go pay players. And so it's really about the money. So if you kind of already are doing that in a sense, do it in the NBA level, he'll have to cut back on his antics on the sideline a little bit because these are grown men.
Yep.
But I think that how you handle grown men and how you handle, 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds is completely different. And I think that when you're, I don't know, I just think that he will completely change a lot of his mannerisms and how he handles stuff. For the most part, I think he'll still be that same guy, but his brain, dude, is still going to cross over. He's still going to be very, very good.
Yes, I'm excited to see the brain part of it. I think you hit the nail on the head, though. Like 18, 19-year-old kids, coaching them is much different than coaching one LeBron James, assuming he's still there. I think he's probably one of the better coaches that they would have. I don't know. I like Frank Vogel and I like Darvin Ham. Yeah. I mean, it's different. It's different.
Well, the good thing about this is he knows that they want him to be there after LeBron. And so let's say it doesn't work out in the first 40 or so games. Honestly, the Lakers could pivot and say, trade LeBron. He's only got a year or two left. Hopefully they don't draft Bronny. I think that'd be the dumbest thing they would ever do. But I will say that they could easily pivot, trade LeBron, which would be like a thing you don't do. But if they're not doing well, whatever, and then you automatically are set up with your team, your roster, and you can change it with new draft picks, new players that you traded for, all this kind of new stuff that you can have to really build a team and not just a team around LeBron and AD. But I think it's going to be built around AD more than it is LeBron because LeBron's got a year, maybe two. We'll see.
Yeah. It's honestly best case scenario for a guy like Hurley because you're coming in. It's like you said, they want him longer than LeBron. That's the deal. And that's cool. Good for him. Enough about non-Grizzlies though. Let's talk about the weekend. The weekend outlook. I started doing it like Sean Connery because I can't do the guy from Jurassic Park, but I can kind of do Sean Connery. So the weekend outlook. It's where we talk about the weekend and what we're doing, what we're not doing, what we want to do. I can go first.
Yeah.
I was gifted a couples massage for my birthday. I've never gotten a professional massage. I think I'm developing like a hump. I can't tell, it would suck as an actor to develop a hump because then you can only be Quasimodo and Hunchback of Notre Dame or Igor and Young Frankenstein. I don't know any other humps. But I'm so excited just to I don't know what to expect. I don't know if it's going to be a large sumo man or if it's going to be like a Don't do you, I don't, or if it's going to be like a small gymnast lady who's like, ay, 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 ay. Like I don't know. I'm really excited, and Kyla, my partner, is going to be there with me. So if I'm scared, I can just scream. I'm just pretty excited. I'm ready to make this the most relaxing experience for me and non-relaxing experience for everyone else.
Yeah.
Not tomorrow. How about you?
So, all right. So on that, I've had many over the years, especially being like in college. Like I always had back issues, but I always had arm issues from baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd had to, somehow get massaged out either by the trainer or actually go somewhere. But I finally had like a professional one when I was younger, and I was like, I didn't say anything to the lady. I just like dealt with it because I was like, this is how it's supposed to be. Yeah. And now as I've aged, over time, and I've had many, many more, I've learned that they want you to tell them if it hurts or not because they don't really know. And especially me being bigger, like obviously when you push in on me, they might have to feel like they need to push harder. And some parts, great. Some parts, it hurts just as much as me as it does anybody else of any size.
You're like, stop.
Because of the pressure points. And so my advice is be honest with yourself, because you're not going to be considered a baby or a weak dude. Like, be honest, like, hey, not right there. Or, hey, it's too much. Or, right there. That'd be great. Just the reason is because they don't know either. But
they don't know my body.
If you do see a little lady, I promise you, she's stronger than all those big guys that you see, because those big guys have big mitts and they're pushing hard and they're going to push your whole body. That little lady, she's going to get in that little spot and she's going to push all her strength in that one little spot. And you're going to be on your knees crying because it's going to hurt so bad because they're stronger than they look. So that's my only advice. If you get a little one, man, be careful.
It's like a police lineup. Do they walk in and I go, I want that one? No,
it's a surprise.
A surprise. Oh God. That's cool. Okay.
And it looks like
you told me that.
If there's gymnastic, like kind of parallel bars on the top, just know they are walking on you.
They're not for me. They're for them.
Yeah. So they're going to hold on and walk on and use their heels. So it's all about their heels, their elbows, the bottom of their,
what is that?
I guess their hand. I don't know. It's not
the thing that you push people's nose up in karate.
Yeah. I don't know. So whatever. I don't know if that's considered your palm or your whatever. Yeah. That area.
If anyone knows what that area is, let us know.
But yeah, that's what I would say. But yeah, it should be a good time. But my weekend, honestly, my oldest is now, she just had basketball camp this week. So we've been going out playing basketball every day, just practicing. I'm trying to teach her how to properly shoot because she has her left hand barely pushes on the ball when she shoots. And so it rotates it weird. Yep. And so she was like, well, it just doesn't work the same when I do it the right way. I go, well, that's a problem. We need to figure that out.
We need to figure your shot out.
Yeah.
So, you sound like Ben Simmons.
But it goes in. That's the problem, is it goes in when she shoots it the way she does. And then when I tell her, I was like, you have to just work on it. It's the summer. Just work on it. Anyway. Yeah. So we'll probably be doing some basketball around the house, just hanging out. Nothing crazy. Should be a good weekend.
Heck yeah, man. Summer sports are always fun because it's like summer. It's like camps, it's like you're able to use these. It's like low, I don't want to say low stress, but like low, the results don't matter as much. You're just there to learn and practice.
Right.
It's not like a tournament or anything.
Yeah. It's nice.
Maybe it's, I don't know. I saw an advertisement for like a father-son basketball tournament at a church up the road. I think I might just go pick a kid up and just see if I can, because we don't have our kid for the month of June. I might just go pick one up and be like, hey, you want to play hoops?
You want to
go to the park, be like, hey, who's got next? You want to come church hoops with me?
Stranger danger.
That's how you end up in jail. That's a good show today. We're going to end it on that. Thank you for joining me, Daniel. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody at home, for watching. I will be back Monday. Remember two things that I'm going to leave you with this. Remember to be a little weird and remember to smile. Everybody have a good Friday and a great weekend. I'll see you Monday.